Hello and welcome to your April 2022 Tarot Scopes with me, Intuitive Rene. As always, such an honor and a privilege to be here with you and to bring you this content to keep you motivated, inspired, and focused on whatever is necessary for the month of April 2022. So, tarot scopes are always so much fun for me. We're sticking with the same format that we have used for the last couple of months. So, we're doing a detailed spread, detailed layout, giving you guidance to help you navigate through the month ahead. So we're looking at April, month number 4. It is just quite mind-blowing how quickly 2022 is going. And I hope that you are managing to get through it fairly unscathed, fairly successful in whatever it is that you are doing for the time being. So if you are a returning subscriber or returning viewer to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for your love and support. Always means the world to me to have you return. And if you are a new visitor to my channel, welcome to you as well. I do hope that you enjoy it here and that you do consider subscribing to the channel to make sure that you see all the content that is available. So let's talk tarot scopes for a second. What are they? So tarot scopes are videos that I create towards the end of the previous month for the following month. So the time of recording these videos will be like the last week in March, and I release them in that time period so that you have them before the new month starts, so that you can be prepared, so that you can watch to see what the month ahead has in store for you, so that you can prepare yourself, brace yourself if necessary, so that you can take advantage of the energies that are around you. The tarot scopes, there are 12 individual videos done, and they are all completely different. I stick with the same kind of layout. I use the same spread, so it's the same questions that we're asking. I use the same deck, but obviously the readings are so different for each sign of the zodiac. This intro I recorded once and I stick it in the front of each of the 12 videos just to save myself repetitive talking. And I do set the intention with the tarot scopes that they be relevant for your sun sign, for the moon sign, and for your rising sign. So if you do know that much information about yourself, if you are familiar with your natal chart and you do have that, you're welcome to watch a couple more of the videos to get different aspects or different insights to who you are and what you're dealing with for the month of April. I also then strongly encourage you to come back to the video during the month of April. So halfway through, like, closer to the end or whatever it may be, when any time that you're facing a challenge or any time that you're facing a quandary, find yourself in a bit of a pickle, come back to the video, because you will certainly find some inspiration that might help you to make the decisions or the changes, or to make the movements in whichever direction you need to. So I do encourage you to come back. The video never gets taken down. It's always here. The months in question, so like now we're doing April, I will have the April videos highlighted on my YouTube channel. So if you're wondering about how to find it, you just go to youtube.com, you do a search for Intuitive Rene, and on my page you will see the April tarot scopes will be visible. And if you want to look at the past month, if you go, once you're on my YouTube channel, go to the playlists, you will see these, that they're all there. All the previous month's playlists, they're all there for you. So I do each month in a separate playlist just so that I can highlight it and make it easier for you to find. So what decks am I going to be working with today? Well, for our April tarot scopes, I'm going to be working with the Gilded Tarot Royale. I love the Gilded Tarot, I really do. So I have the Gilded Tarot Royale, and this is by Ciro Marchetti. I'm going to be working with his deck. I do have the little mini on hand as well, just in case we need some clarifiers. So we have the two. I love working with these, what I call tarot families. So I've got those two. And then I have the Oracle deck that I want to work with, is this one, which is a combined Oracle deck. It's got two decks in it, both by the same person. I think Wendy Andrews is her name. I hope I haven't got it wrong. So this is the Goddess Dream Oracle, and the Goddess Love Oracle. So you can see that they are, I'm looking for a purple, there we go. So you can see I've got the yellow and the purple. So the one is the Goddess Dream Oracle and the other one is the Goddess Love Oracle, and I have combined them into a single deck, which means that double the gorgeousness, double the gloriousness. So those are the decks that I'm going to be working with. I am going to switch the camera around, so you will see my table. You will have a top-down view of the cards, so that it just means that less of my face and more of the important stuff. So I will swap the camera around so that you get to see onto the table, see the cards as they are, lay them all out, and give you all the information that you need to keep you motivated and inspired for the month of April. So if you enjoyed the video, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. By doing that, by engaging with the video, by giving it a thumbs up and a little comment below, basically what you're doing is you're telling YouTube that this is good content and that they should recommend it to other people. And that's the best way to support me and to ensure that I'm able to continue bringing you this free content. And if you haven't already done so, maybe consider joining my YouTube channel memberships. For a small monthly fee, you get access to me. I'm a poet. We do all sorts of interesting things on the YouTube channel membership. So if you click, wrong side, if it should be just down there, click the join button. There'll be all sorts of information explaining the different tiers, the different layouts, what you get, what you don't get. All of that information is there. So do consider joining. I've got quite a beautiful, wonderful group of people who do subscribe and do support the work that I do in that way. And I do so value and appreciate each one of them. I'm going to stop babbling because you are here to find out about April. You are not here for my awful sales pitch. My awful sales pitch. So friends, as I said, I'm going to swap the camera around. We're going to get onto your zodiac and we're going to give you all the information that you need. Let's get going. Right, Gemini, let's get into your reading and let's have a look and see what April has in store for you. Right, so I have got the Oracle deck here in front of me, giving it a bit of a shuffle, and we're looking for a single card that is going to be the theme for the month ahead for you. So let's have a look. April 2022 for all Gemini energy. What's in store? All right, cards are shuffled, and I am cutting and taking that one over there, apparently. Let's have a look and see. Gemini, love the backs of these cards. So pretty, all the butterflies. We have got for you imagination. And it is card 15 and it says, let your dreams take flight. How beautiful is that? And I mean, you can just see with the artwork as well. First of all my colors, these beautiful purples. Here we have this beautiful lady with her hands up. She's got a fan. You know, she's definitely blowing in the wind and getting involved in everything that's going on around her. We've got an owl. We've got the hare. We've got other birds. We've even got Stonehenge, I think it is. I'm not quite sure, but there's a lot going on this particular card. And, you know, with imagination, I think it's basically saying to you, just go with the flow, just let things happen as they want to, just let things evolve the way that they want to. Don't limit or restrict yourself in any way. And if you can imagine it, if you can perceive it, it can be real, it will happen for you. So I love that for the theme for the month ahead. I think that's just absolutely amazing. I really do think that that's going to give you so much for the month. I'm going to leave, actually, I think I can put it there. I think I'm going to put that card over there. I am changing it around for each of the readings where I put the cards. Right, so here I have the tarot deck. This is the Gilded Tarot Royale. I did obviously shuffle before I pushed record on the camera, but let's just give it a shuffle. And I'm going to lay out all 10 cards, and then I will start talking about it. So while I'm shuffling and laying out cards, High Priestess, putting her back in though. High Priestess, actually, it talks to the imagination card really, really well because, you know, again, with the imagination, we have to recognize we've been programmed, conditioned to believe that your imagination is fantasy, okay? If we can imagine something, it's not real. It's imagination, it's fantasy, it's play, and therefore we don't actually take too much, we don't pay too much attention to our imaginations and to the things that we come up with in our heads. Now, where it says let your dreams take flight, everything starts as a dream. Everything starts as a fantasy. You know, let's talk about romance for a second. Before you find your true partner, before you find your husband or your wife or whatever it is, you fantasize and imagine them, who they are, what they like. We imagine them in all those senses before they actually become a reality in our life. But what we do is once we've imagined them, once we've perceived them, once we've got that understanding, we then almost, if I can call it, allow them to come into our frame of reference. So we allow that dream to become a reality. And I think this is exactly what Spirit is saying. So Gemini, for the month of April, we are going to allow our imaginations to run wild with us. And we're going to allow our imaginations to create a firm reality for us. All right, I have laid out all the cards. I hope I don't have too much glare. There's a little bit of glare there, but it's minor. I'm sure you will forgive me for that. All right, so Gemini, let's get straight into your reading. So excuse the blip in the in your display, but my battery died. And it took me a while before I realized the battery died. So we're trying to pick up where we left off. All right, so Gemini, let's call it take two, shall we? Let's go back. Right, April 2022 is starting off with this beautiful Six of Swords card. You know, Six of Swords, I mean, I just love her boat, her little swan boat. I love the fact that she is, you know, wearing her beautiful blue cape. And the color blue is all about chakra, communication, understanding, expression. It is the suit of swords, which is the suit of intellect, of the mind, of communication as well. And then the swords that she has in her boat are actually there. They represent everything that's important and significant to her. She has this oar is incredibly large, this incredibly large oar, which is she's using to direct her. She's using to direct herself from where she's coming from to where she's going. Now, I want to direct your attention to the background, because if I look at the sky, behind her, where she's coming from, the past, if we can call it that, looks really dark and dreary, and she's moving towards the light. So she's going away from the darkness and she's moving closer to the light. What this is saying to you, Gemini, is that we have to use our imaginations in order to see the potential of what can come in our reality. We have to use our imaginations. We have to almost fantasize, if I can call it that, about the new life that is coming through for you. So April is all about change. It's all about movement and change. It's about leaving the dark past behind you and moving towards the light, moving towards better, happier, or what we hope is better and happier times. But she's on her own. Nobody's doing this for her. She's having to do this on her own. So this is saying to you, Gemini, that you know what? You want something different for yourself. You want a better life for yourself. It's not just going to happen. You have to make it happen. And everything starts as a dream. Everything starts as a fantasy, as an imagination, as a thought. And once we've had that thought, we recognize it, we feed it, we take care of it, we nurture it, we grow it until eventually it becomes an awesome reality. But everything starts at that point, but you have to do the work. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to come up to you and say, hey Gemini, let me hold your hand and let's do this. You have to initiate things for yourself. The challenge that we have here, though, because this is the card that represents the challenge, this is the card that represents the thing that you're struggling with, and it is the Ace of Wands. And this is about getting things done. It's about that first step, the first reaction, the first response, the first thing that you have to do. And you're struggling with that a little bit, not because you don't want to do the work, but also because there's this fear of failure, this fear of not getting it right, or this fear of challenge, or this fear of whatever. Because in this particular case, the imagination is running wild. So, Gemini, this is Spirit saying to you, April is going to be a very interesting month for you. There is a lot of opportunity for different, a lot of opportunity to shift and change towards a better life for yourself. But again, it's about having that drive and that passion, and it's also about just getting things done. So the biggest challenge that you have is I always want to say over-intellectualizing, okay? Over-analyzing, over-intellectualizing, instead of actually just getting on and getting things done. All right. The undercurrent, though, And possibly one of the reasons why you're finding it so difficult to get started is because there's just too many choices. There's just too many options. There's just too much going on for you. And this can be, and obviously is, quite overwhelming. So we need to be aware of that. All right. So Gemini, just as you go through the month, if you find yourself sort of hesitating, okay, and sort of holding back and then taking a step and two steps back and taking a step and two steps back, taking a step and doing those kind of motions, recognize that there is this underlying fear which is holding you back, but there's also too many choices. So when there's too many choices, it overwhelms us. And when we're overwhelmed, we just rather do nothing. We either try and do it all, in which case we've taken on too much and we fail, or we don't do anything, in which case we fail anyway. All right. So that's sort of, if I can call it, the undercurrent. That's what's sort of lying beneath the surface. Now, just to bring our imagination back into it, and it says to you across the bottom there, to let your dreams take flight. So I'm going to talk romance for a second, okay? Because it's the one kind of concept that everybody's familiar with. It's the one kind of concept that everybody's aware of. So if you're looking for a new partner, if you're looking for a relationship, and for example, you put yourself onto a dating site, okay? And I don't know dating sites, so I'm not going to recommend. But if you put yourself on a dating site, as you start scrolling through the options, you can be quite overwhelming because there's so many and you don't know who they are and you don't know what they are and are they being honest, are they being truthful, all of these kind of things. And that whole process can be quite overwhelming. So sometimes it's easier to not participate. Now, when I look at these three, and I look at the theme for the month, it's definitely Spirit saying to you, be picky, be choosy, set your imagination free with regards to what you want, what makes you happy, what excites you and what doesn't excite you. Don't ever settle for mediocre. Don't ever settle for mediocrity, because mediocrity does not exist in these first three cards. Now, card number 4. Is how did we get to this place that we are now? And we've got the opulence card. I love that. And opulence is my favorite word for this card, opulence. Opulence basically means excess. It means everything is so fabulous, it's just like over the top. Opulence means, that it's not just for necessity, it's for imagination, it's for our dreams, it's for our desires, and it's because we can. And because we can, well, why not? And I think, Gemini, this is Spirit saying to you that you deserve, because you can, that you deserve opulence, that you deserve a good life. And this is why you find yourself in the situation you find yourself, where we are changing and moving towards a better life, because you deserve it. Simple. It is as simple as that, because you deserve it. Now, this card, interestingly, is the support that is available to you. And here we have the Queen of Wands. I mean, just look at her face. She is not in focus because the camera is misbehaving. She is so focused. You can see by her face that she is strong. She's powerful. She's very aware of her capabilities. She's very aware of who she is, what she is, why she is, and how she is. And she is not afraid of anything. She will tackle and take on the biggest challenges ever. She's not afraid at all. She also knows, being the Queen of Wands, she knows that she's got an army at her disposal should she need it. So she knows that she's got that backing and support. Now, this card is basically saying to you, Gemini, that you've got to recognize that Spirit are there for you, that Spirit have got your back. Just like her army have got her back, Spirit are your army and they've got your back. So you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be fearful. What you have to be fearful of, though, is not fulfilling your dreams, not following through with your dreams, and falling short on everything that you have going on in life. So we need to, and I know people say to you, imagination is fantasy and we shouldn't be living our life based on fantasy and, facts over fantasy always. But actually, in this particular case, I really, 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 really want to encourage you to let your heart lead you. Let the mind, let the facts, let the reality, let that stay behind. And let's be guided by our heart space. Let's be guided by our needs, wants, and desires more than anything else. Because you know what, Gemini, you deserve it. You deserve it. Simple as that. All right. Card number 6. And this is what we're moving towards. So we have this beautiful peacock energy over here. And we've got this young lad. Just trying to get the camera to focus on our young lad. There we go. And you can see by his face, he looks quite young and innocent. He's dressed as best as he can. So he's put on the clothes to match the part. So he's dressing for the circumstance, he's dressing for the situation, and he's probably quivering in his boots. He's probably so afraid of dealing with and tackling whatever it is that life is throwing at him. He's quite afraid to deal with that. Sorry, just trying to get the camera to focus on him. It normally needs to see a bit of skin before it'll focus. I don't know why it's misbehaving today. There we go. So he's probably quivering in his boots. He's probably so nervous about whatever it is that he's about to tackle. He's allowing his insecurities to get in the way. He knows what he needs to do. He knows what he's capable of doing, but he's still afraid because he's not done it before. Now, Spirit is saying to you that you're going to recognize that as you step out of your comfort zone, more so with that one than any others, but as you step out of your comfort zone, you are going to be nervous. You are going to be afraid. It is going to be scary. But if you know that you are supported, if you know that Spirit got your back and that everything's going to be okay, you will overcome your own insecurities. Now, these insecurities are about, I'm going to call it the material possessions, the physical stuff, okay? So if we use the analogy of finding a new partner, meeting somebody for the first time, this would be that actual moment of standing in front of a person saying, hey, my name is, and introducing yourself, that moment, which is so scary. But Spirit is saying that you know what you need to do and you will manage it. You just need to put yourself out there and you just need to do it. Okay. So this one's very interesting because this Page of Swords is how you are seen. When people see you, what are people's perceptions of you? How are people understanding or perceiving you? And the Page of Swords is like you're a scholar, like you're a learner, like you still got so much to learn and so much to understand. As much as you've got a bit of knowledge and a bit of understanding, there's still so much you don't know, so much you still have to learn. So people see you as somebody who is still trying to figure things out. And you know what? Isn't that fabulous? Because that gives you a reason, or sorry, not a reason. It gives you an excuse to make a mistake. It gives you an excuse to not get things right first time around, because remember, you've got all these choices and options available to you, and we're going to use our imagination, which means we're going to try things. We're going to try things out for the first time and see where it takes us and where it goes. I just want to comment and acknowledge that we've got these 2 pages over here, okay? And this first one here is what we're moving towards, is that we're going to a better life, better opportunities, better circumstances. And this is how people see you. And people see you as somebody who's still learning, who's still growing, who's still understanding. The truth of the matter is, you're a lot smarter than you're letting on. Of course you are, Gemini. Of course you are. A lot smarter than you're letting on. And that's okay. And that is absolutely okay. So this is how people see you, but this is how you, or who you actually are. And what we've got here with the Hanged Man, or the Hanging Man as it's called here, it's about just getting a different perspective on life, doing things a little bit differently, but it's also about waiting until we see that the moment is perfect, that the moment is right before we leap into action. So it's almost like, if you imagine him as a trapeze artist, for example, he doesn't, when he's performing, he doesn't just jump and swing and go crazy. He waits for the moment within the show, the right time. The music must be right, the ropes and the strings and everything needs to be right. His partner needs to be right. The whole circumstance needs to be correct before he swings into action. So this is about not just swinging aimlessly and hoping that it all works out, but this is about everything being precise, everything being perfect, everything being in the right moment. So that is who you are. So Gemini, you recognize that everything has to fall into place before you will jump into action, even though people don't think you're as smart as you are. But we are going to allow our imagination to lead us into different places, into different ways, into different circumstances. Now, what we have here with the Six of Wands, this is a little bit of advice. This is like sort of, a little message from Spirit for you. And the Six of Wands is saying to you, you actually can't fail. It doesn't matter what it is you choose to do during the month of April. You actually can't fail. All right. Everything's going to work out for you. You have I'm going to call it the luck of the Irish. You have the luck of the Irish where, once you've made up your mind on something, once you've decided on something, success just comes. So whatever it is that you're moving towards, whatever it is that you're setting your imagination free on and moving towards, just know that you're going to have like crazy abundant success, that everything's going to work out for you, Gemini, because that's just who you are. So knowing that you have the luck of the Irish, knowing that everything is going to work out for you, almost gives you permission to really let your imagination run wild and to really push the boundaries of the way that you've been living life previously, and setting yourself free suddenly becomes easier, suddenly becomes more exciting. Now, what is truly exciting, Gemini, is this last card. So card number 10 for you. For the month of April 2022, we have a major arcana card, number 19, which is the Sun. The Sun is the center of our solar system. It's the center of our world. The Sun gives life to everything that we have and everything that we are. And without the Sun, we would cease to exist, wouldn't we? So the Sun card here is a confirmation and a reminder of happiness, of joy, of success. It's also telling you, this is Spirit saying to you that, what, happiness matters above all else. Happiness first. So as much as we need to live a physical, practical life, and as much as there are boundaries and rules and limits and restrictions on everything that we do, we have to be working towards unconditional love and happiness. And if we're not working towards that, then what's the point to this earth existence? So Gemini, this is Spirit saying to you, April is definitely a month to make some progress on moving yourself out of the darkness and into the light. You are going to have to use your imagination, set your imagination free to remove the boundaries, to remove the walls. But you have to recognize with these two cards here that you have to do this for yourself. It is scary when there's a lot of choices and options, but if you just recognize that there's many choices and options and you can't fail, you just know it's going to be easy. You just know it's going to be successful for you. So out of your 10 cards that I've chosen here for you, Gemini, I want to just acknowledge we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 really positive, really positive cards. Cards that talk about success above all else. Cards that talk about you actually can't fail. Now, I don't mean that you can go and be reckless, but I do really want to encourage you to set your imagination free and to just push the envelope and see where it takes you, because you can, you're safe to do so, and just experience whatever life is to offer you. You got this, Gemini. So, dearest Gemini, wishing you a month full of blessings, a month full of happiness, and a month full of joy. And with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care, Gemini.